are going. So, welcome back to Factorio. I'm going to click resume and we can get right into it. So last time we were here, we were working on this module factory, and the idea was to make it so that it automatically swaps between different types of modules depending on what we need. Now, if I recall correctly, we had a problem with this the previous time around, which is that this is letting some of the wrong type through. So it's supposed to obviously switch from one to the other, but we need this box and everything after it to only be green modules until there's nothing left in here, and then we can start loading up the blue modules and get that started. But as we can see, some blue modules have made it through. And that's going to be because of some sort of bizarre bug in this system here. So this green check is an output of 2. So why is that? Is it... And why is that causing problems? So where does the green check even get used? Did it get used here? Oh no, it gets used here. So this is only enabled if the green check exactly equals 1. Currently it's 2, which is wrong. It should be 0. Which... let's see here. Why is that? So, if everything is less than 0, that's obviously not true. And if anything in green is less than... for each thing in green, if it's less than its equivalent in red. So, this is currently outputting because this is true, I think. Right? Because this is less than this. But there isn't... Alright. Somehow this has dropped down. How has that happened? Alright, well, it might be working. I mean, it seems to be making the swap. So, I don't understand what exactly just went on. But if it works, I guess. So this is now successfully outputting blue circuits. So this is outputting tier 2 blue circuits to somewhere, probably. Directly into this box. And the box has filled up. Oh, this is so incomprehensible to me. Why did I have to stop halfway through doing this? So this box is filling up with blue circuits. And that is probably going to cause some problems. Right? I mean, if this switches, maybe it'll just work. I don't understand how it's working if it is. Yeah, I don't understand how this functions, like, at all. So this... Right, so this isn't gonna work, right? So if we go to... what, this one... So the problem is, I mean, actually, it seems like it might actually work, but I'm not confident in that. So the problem is that this one, where is it? You see two types in, and you say that that's output of 2, which is not an output, which is greater than 0, so this will then output a signal of 1. Wait, what? What does that do? I'm so confused. I am so confused. I don't understand what this is doing, but it seems to be working. So, yeah, I guess we take those. So now we need to deal with these junk outputs. So the circuits are going to be easy. We can just shove them back on their respective belts. The problem is going to be A, if they ever fully saturate, and B, the modules themselves. So, how do we deal with those? So I guess we could bring the circuits all the way back to the boxes, which theoretically won't completely fill up under like any circumstances, and it'll be the first priority to get drained again. As far as the modules though, okay, also where's that attack? Down this corner. What is causing... Oh, it's this guy here. Alright, let's just get rid of you. And that should get rid of all the nests. And also get rid of some of the worms down there for good measure. Alright, so with that done, we need to take these output chests and loop them back in. So, the modules, we need to somehow make the modules get put back onto these belts at the correct times. Oh, we're losing more. Still down at this corner. Okay, are we triggering these guys? Let's wipe them all out. It's a giant mega nest. So that's gonna take a fair amount of work. But should be able to blast through them. And that should be... we might need another shot down on that one. There we go. Another nest dealt with. Back to what we were doing again. And hopefully, eventually they'll just run out of nests to do attacks, and we'll just never have to worry about that ever again. For now, though, we're still in the process of doing this. Alright, so this is making blue circuits now. But this one isn't working properly. So it starts prematurely. So what happened there? We finished mining productivity, so let's unlock, I don't know, stronger explosives. Sure, why not? And we're being attacked again. That's probably just the retaliation attack from that nest that I blew up. Yeah, that's probably nothing. Alright, so I think we might need to set these to like 20. In order to make sure that there's enough of a buffer to actually finish some stuff. And let's go down and do all of these as well. Alright, so hopefully that'll ensure that this doesn't start unless there's enough of a buffer to actually make a machine. So then we need to loop, we really need to get these looped back in. We're wasting a lot of red circuits. Alright, so let's first take a belt down this way. We're gonna need some space. So let's do that and that. So this belt comes down this way, gets a bulk inserter, and that bulk inserter is going to whitelist the 3 types of circuits and nothing else. So now we take this and we're going to need to bring this, yeah, over to these 3 boxes, but first we're going to need to split it. Or maybe we split it later, actually. No, let's bring it over here. And then we're in this area, and we can split it like that, so that output priority left is green circuits. So then we drain all that stuff out, and yeah, I think we want to just fill up the box. So if we just do that, take you out, move you there, and bulk inserter that. Alright, then we just have to unjam that a little bit more and power that back up. So that will put green circuits back in the mix. Then we take the red circuits down here and gonna have to do the same thing. So that goes like that, and then that comes out, moves over to that side, and gets a bulk inserter. Okay, and then we need to make sure that that output is only red. Or no, the other one, apparently. That one is only red. Alright, so then we take this one and we loop it the rest of the way around through this whole giant forest, apparently. And then do the same thing one last time. And this time we just have to make it so that only blue goes here. And we have to shift the power poles around again. So filter, blue, left, powered on. Alright, so that should deal with all of those. And I think we want this to be bulk. What is going on? Why does this area keep getting attacked? I don't see any biters in the immediate vicinity. Maybe that's something. Let's just fire a shot over there to see. I don't see any shots firing. Okay, there's one from way downtown. Yeah, there's nothing there. That doesn't look like a nest. That looks like just a random horde. Alright, I officially have no idea what is causing those attacks. So we're just going to ignore them again. So then, we have this, and it is apparently shifting over to productivity modules. So that's nice. So we need to take the second box out of here. Alright, so we need to... Is this all of the module outputs that go wrong? Theoretically, no. Alright, so all of those spare modules... No, I think this is correct. So yeah, the spare modules are just coming from those. But this should also be getting spare modules that it needs to output. Yes, and those are going in here. Alright, so we first need to take this out and get these red and blue circuits back in to where they need to go. So that can just be done with use filters, whitelist, green, red, blue, although I don't think it's ever going to use green. Alright, so then we have to drain the modules that it tried to put on there. And now we just have to take this belt just in to line up with this one, which hopefully we can just do like that. No, that's gonna be too cramped. But we can... Alright, this is incredibly cursed. So we can pop those in there, and then they'll go along. And then they'll all be filtered through. So there we go. And then they go down here. This is a very, very roundabout way of getting them right back to where they were like 5 minutes ago, but it's got to be done this way, basically. Alright, and the blue circuits go off. And we're all set. Alright, so that is that, and now we just have the modules. So we need to get these back to there, but only when it's correct to do so. And how do we do that? Alright. Let me think. Let me think. Alright, I'm trying to think and it's very much not working. We need to get a belt over to this side and then have it also set to only be active. Or no, we can set filters, maybe? Let's see here. If we get you in and then we grab one of these guys. So we have to grab these and wire them up like that. So set filters. No, that's wrong. Alright, so actually what we need is to wire them up to these, right? I think. No, that might cause delays, but we'll see. Alright. So the wire has to go onto there. So set filters to whitelist and like that. Alright, that might work. So these are producing productivity modules and this is going to only output productivity modules. So yeah, that's probably functional. So then we just need to move that chest to be there, and actually, would it be easier to just have this go that way? Probably. So we would need this belt to connect up differently down to here, but again, that would actually be easier. Alright, so this belt goes along this way, and let's see, how do we, can these handle more than one filter? No, they can't. Okay. So we need that to go like there. Wait, how did I do this? We put everything into one box and then we took 2 belts out of it. Okay, yeah, that's fine actually. So this goes down to here and bulk inserters in. So everything is going to go into this box, and then that filter will ensure only the right things go out there. And then we need another belt, which is awkwardly in the way of this. But this doesn't need to exist, right? This is just an old testing thing. So we're going to take that out. And you are going to whitelist the circuit types. And you are going to come down here. And that is going to go back a little bit, and then you are going to go in there. Alright. So, now let's grab those and just... Oh, they probably just got put directly to trash. Yeah, they just got put directly to my trash filters. That's fine. We don't really need that, assuming that this works. Alright, we finished stronger explosives. Let's get a destroyer capsule, because that seems quite fun. I've never used a single one of those, but it should be fine. Alright, so we have that. Now we need to just get the same out of this box, which we've sort of pinned it in a little bit, but we need you to go over here and then input into that. Alright, how do we get that belt out? Okay, so I guess we have to do that. Take that out, which actually was not necessary anyways. These things have been connected up other ways. So then this is going to output, and yeah, let's just grab, oh gosh, where was it? It was this red wire. Alright, so if we just bring that... Okay, we need a power pole so that it can reach far enough. Alright, then that is hooked up. Tell it to set filters. Then we take this belt out, and then we need to get this all the way back over there, just across the entire factory. So that is gonna be very annoying. So we're just gonna have to do some creative navigation through here, and we can use underground belts to fix this. And then these go all the way over here. That goes underground briefly. And then this comes up to there. Alright, so we have that. And we're still being attacked and losing drones. Where is this? Way far south. Okay, how... I mean, I guess it's got to be these guys, but there's like no Why is there no pollution down there? Because this whole thing just isn't running for whatever reason? Very cool. Oh, probably because we just don't need the iron. Yeah, that's fine then. Alright. Let's just clear out some of the closer nests. Alright, so there is a couple more up there that need to get shot at. And then there are these ones, which need to go. I wish the automatic range was even remotely comparable to the manual range so that I could just do this without having to micromanage it. But it's fine. Alright, that is that. And now, this continues to function. And I think it's probably working. Alright, let's set these to just make a couple of each. So we have 15, 12, and we have 10 of the blues, which means we're making more blues. Alright, I think this might just be working. So that's pretty neat. Now, it's not exactly high output, which is a problem. And we're also still having red circuit shortages. So this is set up. It's priority 100 because it's basically empty. Alright, red circuits. What is your problem? You are producing as fast as you can, it looks like. Or maybe not. What are you short on? Alright, you are short on wires. Why did somehow an extra power pole get put in here? Yeah, let's get that in. Now we have an inserter there. Or, no, someone just went and took the power pole away. The inserter is still in progress. We finished research. Let's queue up the atomic bomb research. That'll be fun. I don't know that I need it, but a little bit of explosives never hurt anyone. Alright. You are output full. Because this is facing the wrong way. And yeah, it looks like this whole row is gonna be messed up. So these all need to face this way. I don't know how that has happened. Feels like these just randomly flip around for no good reason. I was like, how is every other one here, except for like one of them, wrong? Alright, almost there. And that will significantly improve our output. Although now we're facing a wire shortage. which is interesting. So we have a couple waiting at copper wire outputs, a couple waiting at various other stops. Alright, so this is short on copper plates. Alright, so if we're short on copper plates, that's what we're going to need to fix. And are we short on copper plates? Is this running? No, this isn't running, which means well, it's technically running a little bit, but not very. There is a train on the way, but I think that delay is probably too long. Okay, we also, I think we're going to need to balance the wire with the priority setters. Alright, so let's see if I can just do that from here. So I grab you, and I believe you just go in like that. And then these all get clicked across. And we might have to change that somewhat. Also, we need to either craft or make them available. Yes, we need to just throw some of you in and then craft a bunch of them for the future. Alright, so that is that. And hopefully that will help equalize this out. Oh, we need to snap that in and set the priority, which is -38. Oh, so these, right, these have more boxes than the other ones do, which means that the math is going to be all messed up. So these are still, let's see, a full box is going to be like 6.4K times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.4K times 6 times 4. 6.4K times 24. Alright. Alright, math machine. 6.4K times 24 output to something. Please have power. 153K. Alright, so this needs to be 153000. Is that constant? 63. Alright. I guess I can believe that this is 63% full. But we definitely then need to set this one up as well. So you go in and you get a whole bunch of arithmetic combinators. So that will provide them for this. And then we just need to start hooking all of these up. Alright, and then that goes into that. That is set priority, which is apparently currently quite low, because these boxes are all full. Interesting. Don't know what caused that. Because these were definitely empty a second ago. Or is it just that the belts aren't quick enough? It might just be that the belts are slow. I mean, we can definitely fix that problem. So if we upgrade those belts and up to like there, that should double the throughput, which should help. There we go. In come all the drones. And that's probably helping somewhat. All right. So that is that. Is this still working? No, it isn't. So this has basically bricked completely. And it's because of this one little blue guy here. Alright, what if I just... If we just take this belt along and connect it into that box, maybe that will help? No, that probably won't. It's probably a bad idea, because... No, I mean, it should be fine, right? They're just gonna keep circling around. So we just need to, like, literally just do that, I guess. Okay. So that has definitely not solved the problem. Wait, maybe? Maybe it has? Maybe we just need that to be a bulk inserter? Yeah, alright. I think that solves the problem. So there's going to be a whole lot of unnecessary looping going along, but I think it is working. We can just repurpose the recycling function for that. And then do the same thing here, right? Just take this and these ones recycle to here. So if we just do that, then that will repurpose that recycling function, and it should work. Alright. So I don't know why those are still going around. Oh, it's because these are making greens. Right, so these are making green circuits, and eventually they're going to have to make enough green circuits that there's just always some stuff in this belt, in this box, which that's going to need to be a bulk inserter in order to be faster than this. Alright. So that might have fixed the problem. And I say might, because that also very well might have not fixed the problem. But we'll see. And the loops go around, and they loop. They loop endlessly. But there is more getting put in than is coming out. So these are working, and that's causing this to eventually get a recipe and start working. Probably. We just need there to be a ton of resources on this loop, basically. Which, we're not going to know if that works until later. Meanwhile, we're getting attacked from the north. So that's going to be some of these guys up here. So let's just get rid of all of you. And should get rid of this guy as well. And we're just gonna good old spam right click in this whole region. And did we miss this one, or are the shots just incoming? I think we missed it. Alright. So that is gonna be a major attack, because this was a big nest. Alright. Okay, we didn't need the extra shots there. That's fine. So now that nest is gonna be gone. And we're just going to have to survive these massive swarms off of our admittedly not spectacular defenses. It'll probably be fine. Alright. So, we should also... Man, it feels like... I'm pretty sure they just... like keep spawning in new bases or something. I'm pretty sure that's something that they can do. So let's make sure to keep this side under control as well. Just prevent them from being too close. That one is too close. That's just a tiny little nest. There's apparently more nests that I hadn't seen before. So let's get rid of all of these guys. And there we go. Alright, and now we just have to hope that they don't retaliate by chewing through very important infrastructure. Okay, that's going to be this, although it looks like we've dealt with it. Yeah, that forest is a bit brutal for biters. Their pathfinding has a hard time getting through it, but the lasers just ignore it. Oh. Oh yeah, we're definitely seeing attacks here. Oh, this is not adequate at all. This is terrible. There's basically no hope down there. The biters are going to move on. And, oh god, they chewed through the power lines to this whole thing. Someone put that power line back in wherever it is. Where did the disconnect even happen? Alright, wherever it is, it looks like it got fixed. And we're secure now. Alright, that was a bit of a brutal attack. Let's this stuff is all getting repaired. We have a couple just random laser turrets in the middle of the forest there for no apparent reason. Let's get a proper wall. Just like a short one to protect that drone port, because it's the sort of thing that they might want to go for, and then put some extra laser turrets in as well. I don't want to have to wall off this entire train line, but I might have to at some point. So this is running along and successfully making green circuits, which is pretty neat. And looks good to me. And if we just confirm, green circuits are currently the lowest. Yep, they are. So assuming that it just continues to work like this, that should be very, very cool. And the recycling is also working. So that should be able to produce more or less indefinitely. Although it's not terribly fast. I guess we can speed module Mark III now that we have those. So let's set the request for Mark IIs down to 0, and let's request some speed Mark IIIs, which is probably going to like instantly set this to want to make more of them. Logistic storage 26, on the way 0. Number of available robots is 0. What is everyone doing? Why is every single logistic spot in the entire factory active at the current moment? What are they all doing? Excuse me? They're all going here and grabbing various things for no apparent reason. Where are you going? You're going up this way. What is up this way that needs walls and everything? Alright, we're just gonna follow these drones. Did I, like, place a new buffer chest somewhere that's getting filled? It's gotta be something like that, right? Alright, we're just following these drones north, seeing where they go, and... Okay, no, it looks like they're putting stuff in this storage chest? But why? Why... What is it about this storage chest that makes them want to fill it up with a whole bunch of random junk? I don't understand. What are they doing? And they're literally all busy. Can I just make more, or... Yeah, what are they doing? It looks like they're bringing a lot of stuff to storage chests. But I don't understand why. Yeah. What are they doing? For what purpose? Okay, now they're filling up this buffer chest with a lot of stuff. What happened? What happened? I don't understand. Whatever it is, they seem to have largely finished by now at least, so that's something. But can we find somewhere over here? We have this, which makes construction bots and these guys. So you... Apparently we are somewhat short on logistics bots when we want to do something big, like whatever that was. Alright, so that is in, and now we're going to just be producing more logistics bots, which is probably helpful. Oh, okay, but this one is filled up with construction bots. So let's turn those off. And can we just unfill you with construction bots? Maybe what we need is we need 2 separate roboports. Yeah, so let's just get a roboport there with you, and then you go down that way, and now you can get filled up with logistics bots. And then they can just station there and go to various other places. Alright, so now we're producing again. They go pretty quick, honestly. So that is... Whatever that was, hopefully won't happen again. In the meantime, we have 26 speed modules, and we are going to use them. So that is mostly done. Now these will all run even faster, which... What is the speed? Plus 200%, so really very fast. Alright. I think we're going to leave module production for now. And that should be that. We have 0 spare speed modules, but we're just making productivity modules, which we also have basically no spare of. Alright, so that is that. Anything else to do around here, or are we done? I think we're probably done with that. Alright, so that is a huge success. And now on to another thing, which we will be producing... How about low density structures? We're always... We need these for science of some kind. Utility science. And it would be cool to just have a lot of them. They also are probably used for other things as well. Like, I don't know, I feel like something in here. Yeah, Roboport Mark IIs need them. Batteries Mark IIs need them. So it's not like super urgent, but it would be nice to have them automated. There's copper plates, steel plates, and plastic bars. So let's run on over to some place that needs them. So this is spare room, which we can just build a square in. We're going to be building over this 8 million coal deposit, but that's probably fine. So we go train square V2. Get it all lined up. Like this. And then we place that in. Alright. And now we just need to set up all the other stuff. Just gotta wait a brief moment for all of these drones to get settled in. So a decent amount of drone work to do. But it looks like we have all the resources for it, which is nice. Alright, so we can stand up here and be a personal drone port to get a lot of the stuff done faster. And then we just have to wait for the drones from elsewhere in the factory to show up, which they'll do in a bit of a trickle. Alright, what is going on over here? These guys are apparently filling a buffer chest that was mostly empty. I guess that's fine. Alright, then over here, all of this stuff is getting done. Most of the way there at this point. Just have sort of the distant corners left and a couple of random spots. Alright, so low density structures are copper plates, steel plates, and plastic bars. So this is going to be a copper plate input. This is going to be a steel input. And this is going to be a plastic input. Alright, so those are in. Now we need the train unloaders, which actually, do we just... Yeah, let's actually just save the priority setter as part of this blueprint. So we have that. We have the refueler. We have the priority setter. And then we drag this along. And then we pop that into there. We tell this to be set priority. And now we can blueprint this. Alright, so that is train unloader V2, probably. You can put spaces in these, right? Alright, so then we create that blueprint. And we just need to line it up with you. And you, and I think that probably Yeah, that messed with... The blueprinting messed with this, so we're going to need to fix that. So that is set to steel input. And this is set to... Where's plastic input? And now we just need our trains. We need to have enough trains for all of this. Alright, you are in. Set to automatic and set to plastic group. And you will figure that out once you get some fuel. You need to be connected across. And then you need a train. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. And you get set to steel group and automatic. Okay, we are apparently going to need to manually refuel these the first time around because they're not properly stopped in the station. So let's get you. And do I have any fuel for you? No, I just cleverly gave it all away. Ah well. There should be more fuel on its way. And a copper train has already shown up here. Makes sense because these are currently high priority because they are mostly empty. Alright, so you need fuel still. Did I get any in the meantime? I have not. And you are stuck at a light. Does this need one of those? No? Why can't you go forwards? Why can you not go forwards? It says that that region is blocked, but it is definitely not. Alright, so what is all that about? Well, we can fuel you up, because we just got some. Oh, I guess that one was calling dibs on going next. Okay, why have you just gone there? Oh, plastic output is probably full. Alright, that's fine. As long as you just do your thing properly and make it back eventually. So steel input is set as priority 100, but isn't getting anything. Does that mean that this is also... No, that's not even going anywhere. Oh, so that one is heading to the steel output to get some. Oh, there's only one other train on this at the moment. Didn't realize we used that little steel. Alright, well that will be filling up with steel, and it should be back here not too far from now. The plastic is a bit more dodgy as to when exactly it'll be able to show up. But we do have one loading up over here, so it shouldn't be too long. And then we just need... I mean, this is going to be simple, right? We just get a row of assemblers, which... Wait, it's 3 inputs and an output, so that assembly row isn't going to work. We need... I could have sworn I had a thing for this. It's fine. We can set one up now. So, we have our assemblers. We have input 1, we have input 2, we have input 3, we have output. So these all output over there, and input from there. And they input from there, and they input from there. Alright, so then we need plenty of power lines to keep the whole thing charged up. And then we're going to want... well, we're going to want to put modules in it, but... I think for now we just want to make a blueprint for a row. So let's get this. These bells need to be one longer, apparently, in order to line up properly. So we want this to be as long as we can make it. So something like that. And then we can theoretically flip this like that, line you up there. Okay, that's not going to work because these power poles got in the way. So we have to take those power poles out. And did that disconnect anything? No, it did not. Alright, so then we copy this. We flip it horizontally. And we click that back in. So this should be a nice compact row of assemblers. And we just have to get the whole thing built. And then those are in. Alright, so now we can just blueprint that as assembler double row. And then we can, I guess, put another one in. I don't think we're going to need nearly this much for this particular task. But, you know, might as well have extras. So set all of these as low density structures. And that paste goes across. And this is going to use all the copper plates on the planet. And we're definitely going to need to upgrade that. Which is fine. Alright, I don't know why these are taking so long to get filled up. So another thing we need to do is we need this to be low density output. So this train will leave here. Off it goes. And now this is gonna have to... we might have to trim this back a little bit in order to make space for the loader. Let's go. Let's see here. We don't need the max speed for this, probably. We can use the more compact version. And we plop that in. And we get rid of just these last couple rows. So that all goes back to there. Get rid of all of that. And then we need that to connect across. Alright, and then we actually need it to go like that. Alright, so we now have this, and we just have to figure out what belts go to where, and also trim back that last extra bit. Okay, put that one back in. Alright, so now we have all this. And this is going to be our low density structure factory. And we're going to have plenty of everything. Just loading even more plastic up. So, we need... This is an output. These... So, the external two belts and the internal two belts are the outputs. So this is going to go like that. What's going on? What is going on? We're losing a bunch of stuff. It's this corner. Oh, I see. We have... Yeah, I think we actually just don't want to go out that far, because that's super undefended out there. And then I don't know where it's coming from. It looks like there might be a nest there. That's blinking suspiciously like biter nests do. Yes, we did find a biter nest. So let's send a couple of shots off in the vicinity. And get rid of you. Alright. So, back to this. Somehow this has gotten disconnected again. So then these belts go like this. And like this. And then this one goes like that. And if we wanted to, we could balance them, but I don't think I care. So instead, let's just get these outputs ready to go. So, steel plates are the slowest input, so they can be the ones that go on all of the long-handled inserters, I guess. Although I don't know if we actually have a choice in that matter. So this is going to come up here and go into there. So those two get it. And then this is going to come over here and into there, so that those two rows get it. And that is steel sent across. Now, copper plates is the one which is going to be consumed like crazy. So we want those to be the ones which go around the edges, I guess. And this is probably also going to want this to be faster belts as well. Alright, so let's see. We need 4 belts of copper because it goes into 4 separate places. So let's grab some more space because we're going to need it. And we do that. And this top one can come over here and down and around and up there. Then this one can come down and around and in there. And this one goes around like this. And we are going to need to do some shenanigans with the steel belt to make this fit. Because this goes in like that. And down across like that. Okay, yeah, that doesn't work. I didn't think it would. So first of all, that underground belt is just facing backwards. Alright, how do we get this to work? How do underground belts work? Do we even need to do this as underground belts? No, we should be able to just shift this over a little bit. So this can just go in like that. Then that goes there. And that goes there. Alright, mission accomplished. One more copper belt to attach up. So then this one comes all the way over here. And then up that way. Alright, so that is copper supplied to everything. And then we need to get the plastic there and there. And see how much absolutely insane amount this uses. Alright, so these come down. And they go over this way. And then they're going to go in there, which I want to save to do all at once when I'm ready. Alright, so those are now linked up. And why does that only send a single... Oh, I see. So that goes underground when I really don't want it to. Alright, so now we have that set up. We're just going to wait for that to get down. And let's just upgrade all of these. I know we're going to need them upgraded anyways. So once they split into 4 belts, it should no longer be necessary. Alright, so now we send the plastic through, and we start working. Alright. So we are definitely starting to work, starting to produce some low-density structures. Alright, so that is going along. I guess we can just do like very rudimentary balancing. So now at least there'll be some things are balanced, other things won't be, but that's fine. It's better than nothing. Alright, so now we have low density structures and basically an infinite copper sink, which is obviously not ideal, but you gotta do what you gotta do, and we need low density structures for all sorts of things. Like, I'm pretty sure I could have sworn Rocket Silo needed them. No, the silo doesn't need them. Cargo landing pad doesn't need them. Satellites need them. So that's going to be useful for that. And then I could have sworn there was actually like a specific rocket part in here somewhere. Maybe I need to actually build a silo first. Who knows? Alright, so our infinite copper sink is proceeding as normal. And we're probably not getting enough copper through to run this whole thing. Which is fine, obviously. We don't necessarily need to have this all running at 100%. Although it would be nice. It would certainly be nice to have this running super fast, because that would be cool. But yeah, each of these individually is like 0.08 per second low density structures, so we need a lot of them to make any sort of impact. Alright, now we can actually make these guys passive providers, and I would not be surprised to see a massive swarm of drones heading this way to pick them up and bring them down to something. Like, we are using them for science somewhere. Yeah, here. Although it's actually got enough of them. So what's the limitation on science? So we have red, we have black, we have green, we have blue, we have yellow. We're low on purple science. That's the problem. Alright, purple science. Where do you even get made? Oh, you're this one. Right. That makes sense. So you need all of those things. And electrical furnaces and rails. Alright, so I think with rails we just need to set that to ask for like a bazillion of them. Because we have a lot in logistic storage, but if only 100 are in the air at a given time, then it will be slower. Alright, that was a massive wave. Oh, also we might just need to make you a bulk inserter. Because you're definitely not outputting those rails very quickly. Alright, so there we go, and now we're getting some rail output going. So now the problem here is going to be the furnaces, I would assume. Yeah, furnaces are now short. So where do we make those? And the furnaces are short on concrete, of all things. Alright, well let's go back here. Where is the... Where did that concrete belt that I was just following go? Oh, it's this one? It's hard to tell when it's almost completely empty. Alright, so this goes all the way back to here, where these are running super inefficiently because they don't have ingredients. And the reason they don't have ingredients is because literally 100% of the rocks is being built off of this. Yeah, so can I just set you to ask for as many rocks as physically possible, and then that's probably going to majorly mess with our drone system for a bit, but it should get all this running more. And then another thing which we need to do is we need to make this stuff more efficient. So you all get productivity module 2s. I imagine over here that's not possible. Alright, so if we go to the map, we should see a massive swarm of drones heading down here with rocks in their inventory. Yeah, so we have 2.4K on the way at the moment. Which is probably our entire logistics storage. Or maybe it's just the maximum that this can handle, or something. Alright, where is it? These are definitely carrying rocks. This doesn't look like the correct sized swarm for that, though. Maybe it's just because they're getting dispersed out over all of the drone ports and stuff. That could be it. Alright, well, that's probably fine. Is this still running? No, it doesn't look like this is connected up to anything anymore. That's our starter patch of iron down there. Alright. Yeah, I don't know how the drone system is going to manage this. It does look like the massive wave of stone is starting to show up, and that should gradually make a difference in science production. Although eventually we're going to want to abandon this in particular, because the old stone setup is really atrocious. Like, the fact that we're feeding thousands of this by drone is kind of absurd. But, absurd or not, it seems to be working, so you know, if it ain't broke. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Gosh, that is very funny to watch, just a billion drones trickling in. I imagine that this is doing insane things to our power grid. Not really, honestly. The drones are at this point are nowhere near the assemblers because we have so many modules in our assemblers. And speaking of which, we need to get modules in these assemblers. That's important. Where are you? There you are. Alright. Congratulations, productivity modules for you all. And then what we're actually going to have to do is we're going to have to do this in... Have you been to other planets yet? I do not currently have the DLC. I'm going to be getting it, but currently just playing the base game. Alright, so that is all set up, and this should be more than I know what to do with by a significant margin. So the productivity modules will make that nicer, and then hopefully we won't need this many. Alright, so now the drones are showing up with the modules, and there we go. All but a couple of them. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that we're able to handle that. Apparently we have a lot of productivity modules specifically. Right, because this is still working along, because productivity modules are my favorites. And then is this functioning? No, it is not. Alright. So what has gone wrong with you? Oh, what's gone wrong is that you have filled up with modules. Alright, I'm going to have to run over there and take a look at it more directly. This is what happens when you try to do fancy things. Alright, where were we? It was down here somewhere. And I think... Okay, that's it above us. Alright, so... we've got this. So the problem is that all these are filling up with modules, at least this first row. So what if we just... what if we just have another box? What if we do that, huh? What then? So that box should prevent it from literally filling up with modules like it did there. However, we now have the problem where there are a couple different types of modules in circulation simultaneously. Yeah, this is not working. This is not working at all. Alright, so the problem... it seems like the problem remains that this is trying to make the swap too early. So there are still blue circuits... there's still blue modules in the system when it tries to make the swap over. And now these have no recipe, they don't know what to do. Because... well, let's see, this is outputting those. Oh, the reason they have no recipe is because their output buffer is saturated. Yeah, that's unsurprising. Alright, so now we have all of these circuits as well. Yeah, I mean, this whole system probably just doesn't work. Do we tear it all out and try again from scratch? I really don't want to tear it all out and try again from scratch, but I might have to. Because this is just an absolute mess of a system at this point. Alright. So what we need is... I mean, we can save a lot of the logic, but not all of it. Specifically, this logic here is not working. It feels like it should be simpler. Yeah, definitely. Especially since it's clearly not functional. So what I need to do is I need to figure out how to get this working. So what this is supposed to do is that nothing is supposed to get past this chest unless everything past this chest is either empty or all this. And it clearly hasn't worked, probably because of some of the attempted modifications I've made. But it was just never working to begin with. So, we need a belt, a chest, an inserter, and a belt. So we have that. Then we need some fancy combinator stuff. So we get this. It can read the contents of the chest and the contents of this belt, which is going to be hold all belts. And then it's going to check if this is empty. So if all inputs are equal to 0, then it outputs a check, which is a value of 1, which we can just use in other stuff. So we have that check, which is a value of 1. And this should be... What was I doing with this extra stuff over here? Oh, so we also need to check if... We also need to check if the thing being loaded into the chest is the same as that. So if we have you and read hand contents hold, and I don't know. Maybe we need another... No, that doesn't seem right. So this should be set filters as well, maybe. Okay, so this needs to whitelist either anything or... Okay, yeah, no, that's how we're going to do this. So this will be set filters, and it'll either whitelist anything if this is empty, or only what's in it if it isn't. So I think that's actually simpler. I think that's actually easier. So let's take that out. Alright. What's going on with the biters? Oh, they got to a power pole. Yeah, it's this stupid little thing out here again, which is constantly being a problem. And then the train gets stuck. Yeah, okay, so this we clearly just need an actual wall for. And let's see, all of those are going to be powered up. Get those powered up as well. And let's just make that a corner. Alright, so when the drones get around to putting those laser turrets back in, that should be more secure. Alright, so this takes this. If... Okay, wait. Is this easy, actually? So if we just go... Boom. Boom. And then we put, like... I don't know, some gears in here. So now this is whitelisted to gears. Then, if we take the gears out and drain that whole system, then that is no longer whitelisted to anything. So that is easy step one. And then the other thing is we also connect that into there, and if everything equals 0, then it outputs okay, so it has to output each type of relevant module. So we have that. So it's empty, so it'll output any of those. So now we connect you in, and alright, we've broken it. Alright, so the problem is that... What is the problem here? This should only happen if this is empty. This should only be reading. It shouldn't be outputting anything. Okay, no, I know what it is. Just have to make that green. Alright, so we make that green so that it doesn't loop back into itself. And then this will accept anything. And then the next thing that it accepts, let's say, do I actually have any? Yes, I do. Say it takes those. Now it'll accept those. And then say those empty out entirely. Now it'll accept anything again. Alright. So that is just a much easier way of doing it. Now, is there a way of retrofitting that onto this? Or are we just gonna be stuck? I think we're just gonna be stuck. Alright. Let's... Can we actually start this moving again by just doing that? Will that work? It'll help a little bit temporarily. And then it gets jammed again. Alright, so that's the other thing we need to deal with is the recycling, so that when the recipes swap and they boot out their current ingredients, this loop doesn't happen. And I mean, theoretically, this should solve it, right? Oh god, I cannot see what on earth is going on here. So those three are the setups for the next recipe. It's these two which need to be replaced by this. Alright. So we take the box, we disconnect that, oh, this is gonna be a nightmare, isn't it? Yeah, now it's doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Alright, how do we fix this? First of all, can I just tell you to stop real quick? Alright, so these two I just need to get rid of. Then that needs to be set to hold all belts. And we dismantle those. So this I wish it would tell me what it's outputting, but it won't. So then we have this, which we need that. And it just reads. Alright, so first of all, that just goes to there, and this is made to set filters. And then this also goes to there, which then goes back into there, and then we set those along, and I guess now we just have to first make it so that there's only one type back here. So we take all that out. We take all those out. So now we have that. But this is still... it still has two things whitelisted. Why? Where is the extra stuff coming from? Oh, is that connected up? I bet that's connected up. So if we just set you off of read belt contents. Yes, alright. I think we've done it. At least for that part of the job. So now we just need the extra space. Alright, so now we have that. And it is only sending blue stuff across. Alright, now what if we disconnect that, because I don't think we want that to be connected like that anymore. And then this is still the output, and it's still going to go in here and then loop around if it's appropriate to do so. But it shouldn't get that sort of infinite feed loop. And then we need more free space, and I need to just set you to 0, just so that those are all out of the way. And then, because it's been quite a while since I've done it, let's just spam down a couple of storage chests so that we never run out of space to put stuff. Alright, so now this is running. Oh, we can set that to be active again. And this... oh, we don't have to have it be enable disable anymore. We just have to have it do the filter thing. Alright, so now that's cooking. And we need... okay, it's actually very important that we take that out so that this inserter can grab all of those out of the belt. Alright, so now this whole system is bricked. And then, so what we need to do is... Oh, I set that wrong, did I? Yeah, I set that going to the box. It's supposed to go to there. Alright, so now that fills up with productivity modules. And this starts producing. So we're going to need to do the same thing here. So we cut you out. And we don't need that whole connection. We do, however, need you to be read and hold all belts. Then we need those two to go away. And we need this Q. That goes in. And we set it like this, except now these need to be set to that. And then it is fed from there, outputs to there. That is set filters, not enable, disable. And then we also make that connection. Alright, and that should be a thing. So, the inserters will check if there's anything in there, they'll filter to only accept that. If there's nothing in there, they'll take basically anything that would be realistically on the belt. And then we have that, which hopefully won't be a problem. Because we're going to be absolutely saturating this like crazy with these, and we'll see. It should drain all of them, right? Actually, I wonder if that's something else that we need to check for. Yeah, so I don't know if this is going to work. We might still end up with this being fully saturated out and filled up with the wrong type of modules. Although, let's think. No, this should work. I think this should work, because these are going to keep going through until they're completely empty. And they're going to be coming through on the near side of this belt, whereas any outputs go to the far side, so these will always have a path through, which means that it should just fill up with a whole bunch of blue modules throughout the entire system until that's done. Okay, so now we do have a problem over here. Although it actually isn't a problem. It's just that needs to be a bulk inserter so that it can transition from one stage to the other faster, emptying out its internal inventory. So now that is going to be making those as soon as it gets those. Okay. So this hasn't worked. This still has productivity modules in it. And that must be because that isn't hooked up. Right, so that has to be hooked up. And we're going to need to take all of those out to reset it, and it should work. Should work now. Alright, so yeah, now we have a bazillion of those in here. And that's going to fill up and use all of those eventually. These are going to swap to the next type of module soon, but it won't actually go through the full transition to that until all of these 1,000 module ones are done. Which is only going to... It could only be a problem because of how temporary this is. Like, theoretically, if we hadn't had that problem where we got it oversaturated, we wouldn't have 1,000 of one type of module in here. But it's probably fine. I mean, we can probably find some place to use all those. Speaking of which, actually, that needs that. And we're low on red circuits again, because of course we are. Red circuits. Red circuits is short on both plastic and wire. Alright, so the plastic is something we can pretty easily upgrade. I mean, this is nowhere near the capacity of this square. So let's do that. To find the plastic, because we did set up a whole production line using a bunch of it with the low density structures. So it's not surprising that we're now short on that. Where is the plastic, by the way? The factory is so big and very difficult to tell where everything is just based off of memory. Alright, so now we just head over this way to the plastic. Okay, actually the problem with the plastic isn't production rate, it is input. So, we have 2 waiting at petroleum outputs, and this one's getting nothing, which is unsurprising because that's lubricant, which means it doesn't actually produce much of anything. And then the other petroleum output is, I want to say this one? Yes. And this is running just fine. It's just not fast enough. Alright, so I think we need more petroleum production as like a major thing. So let's actually just directly south of us. That's convenient. So we head down here. We've got all of this going. And so first of all, this is probably not compact, or it's probably not space efficient at all. So I think we just make a new setup for this, although we're going to need probably more crude oil because all this stuff, yeah, we're going to need more crude oil in order to like double our production of petroleum, but that shouldn't be too difficult. So let's find a spot. We can go over to the west, and I'm not going to be copying the existing petroleum production blueprint because I think it's pretty bad. Oh, wait, they got through to some power plants. Oh, it's these ones. Yeah, those ones hardly count. I guess we will get rid of the biters that are most likely to be attacking in that general direction, which is going to be probably those guys. Absolutely some tiny nests around here. I wonder, like, at what point do we just have outposts, like, out here to just, like, with artillery in them so that they can just auto-fire and clear out nests better? seems like that might be a good convenience to set up at some point. Alright, that should be enough artillery targeting for now. We need to head over to some free space to set up a new square. And we're going to have to head south a bit to find the best spot for it, which will be here. Alright, so now we're here. We can plop down our trusty train square V2. Let's see, is everything lined up properly? I think it is. Alright, so that goes in. And we're going to be going a little bit over the water here, but we've got foundation, so that's fine. Alright. Drones sure are building. There we go. And all of that gets put in. Yeah, it's a bit of a process getting all this set up. Alright, that's close enough. Let's just start constructing the machines. And actually, speaking of which, yeah, I never actually automated these for some reason. So we're just going to manual craft a bunch, as much as we can. And that is going to take some time. So, get oil refinery in. And you are going to be not coal liquefaction, although maybe it would be convenient, but we're going to do advanced oil processing like usual. Alright, so we're going to want as much of this as physically possible. Apparently the crafting processes of these, I forgot how slow this was to craft. It's apparently incredibly slow. Alright, so we are receiving the restocks for all the things. Also, I have like a trillion blueprints that are just in my inventory taking up space instead of in the blueprint section. So let's put all of you guys in so that that's not a problem anymore. Alright, so oil refineries. We get a whole giant row of these guys. And we're going to have to move some electrical poles around. But no, those are actually connected up some other way. So that's fine. Alright, so then we copy those settings across. And this is going to be, what, there are 10 of these, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so there are 10 of these, which means 200 water, 200 crude oil, and 50 heavy, 90 light, 110 petroleum. And then we just want to convert everything down into petroleum. So let's get a chemical plant. And we can do a row of these for the heavy oil. So, chemical plant and heavy oil to light oil. So that is going to be more water, which isn't a concern, and that's 20. So if we so this is like a 1-to-4 ratio. So if this is making 50, then we just need like 3 of these total, and that will do all of that. Alright, then we get another row of chemical plants, and I'm just figuring out like the ratios that we're going to need, not necessarily actually where the final plants are going to be. So this is going to be light oil to petroleum, which is 15. So we're going to need 2.5 for that, and then this is 90. So we have 90 plus 37.5 is 127.5. So if we get 10 of these, that would be too much, but 9 would be just barely too few, so I guess we're doing 10 of these. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, actually, how does that change with productivity modules? Because I do love me some productivity modules. So then it's 35.7 of those, and this is 11. So with productivity modules, we actually need more because it's just more efficient. So this times 10 is 35.7. This times 3 is 33. All right, so we need one more of those. And now the ratios are all weird. Now the ratios are all weird and janky. But for the outputs then, this would be 64.3. And this would be... what would this be? This would be this times 3 plus a little bit. Gosh, I wish this game had a built-in calculator like Satisfactory does. Maybe it does and I just don't know about it, but I definitely don't know about it. So this is going to be 64.3 light oil. How much is this going to be? So it's 35.7 heavy oil, which means 3 of these plus a little bit. So we're just going to say 3 of these and round the output up. So 33-ish light oil from there. That's 64. So we're going to say like in the ballpark of 100 light oil then. And then these, in order to deal with that much light oil, we're going to need more than 10 of these. We're going to need, what? So this would be 82.5 for 10 of them. So 11 would be 90. 12 would be 98 point something. Go with 13 to be safe. Alright, yeah, the ratios are a bit janky because of the modules. But it should be fine. So now we just need to get them connected up. So, how do we manage that? Do we conveniently leave ourselves enough space for it here? So the petroleum gas is the first thing, and it just needs to go out like immediately. Yeah, we definitely didn't leave ourselves enough space here. So let's figure this out one row at a time. So the petroleum gas has to leave. And we can have it just do so immediately by give one pipe of clearance so that the other ones can go underground to avoid it. And then we go across and out. Alright, so then the heavy oil just needs to go across and doesn't need any more space because it can go immediately into a machine. Or, well, immediately into... because we need to have the water. So then we would get the chemical plant, which can't go there. Would have to go there. No, because that's not enough space there. So it needs to go even one further back. Like that. So, the heavy oil goes directly across like there. The water comes along like that. And then we just need to get the light oil out, which does fit past there. So that is fine. Alright, so now let's put the modules back in there so that we can remember what the ratios are. I think there was like barely more than 3 of these. Alright, so we have that. And now we need to get all that set up. So, wait, actually we need these to go not directly across. They can't go directly across because they need to merge up as a pipe. Right, that was obvious. Which means we need even more space because we just need to fit 2 pipes in here. Gosh, fluid setups are always so spacious. So that's the water pipe. That's the heavy oil pipe. And then we go back here. And I think that spacing works. So one of the pipes can just go there. The other can go underground to there. Yes. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that just goes across to all of them. Then this goes underground to them. Like so. Alright, so that is that. And now we just need all of these to go along. So we take this pipe out. And there's going to be some spare space in this, which is fine. Alright. So now all these pipes hook up to here. And I should actually... I should just call up the petroleum coke. Or not petroleum coke, the crude oil. So we set you in. And we put in a fluid train unloader. Like so. And power it up. And I guess put a train in. Congratulations. You get a fluid train. And the fluid train gets to be added to the crude oil loop and fueled up and given a permanent refueler. Alright. So now that exists, and eventually crude oil will show up, because that's going to take ages because it's very slow. So may as well get that started as soon as possible. Alright. So what was I doing? Right, we were connecting all of these pipes up. So that one, and that one, and then all of those. Alright, so that is heavy oil residue attached. So then this one, we can just make you a water input. And, God, I hope this, no, oh yeah, these are very small. They're definitely going to fit. Alright, so then we get a fluid train unloader there. So that is that. First two rows finished. This doesn't even need to go out that far. It can just go like that. And then we're going to need to hook this up to water. So we'll go through that wall and connect in there. And then we're also going to have to do these, but that'll be easy. So what I actually want to focus on doing is getting the next row of chemical plants in. So first of all, I don't know how these, I keep forgetting to reset those. So those are set now, and we get another row. So we have light oil has to merge up. Actually, we don't really need that much space here because there's no petroleum gas coming out of this. So it's just that row merges across. The okay, no, this is a problem, isn't it? Is that just like random spacing being like that gonna break this whole thing? Alright, so we take that out. If we put it back in, it's gonna break the instant it tries to connect. It tries to go past that. So we need to shift these over by one, basically. So, of course we do. So those come out. And then they go in like this. There we go. Alright, so then the water pipe, we're going to have to disconnect these pipes and reconnect them. So those go out like that, and then back in like that. Then the water pipe goes across like that. And that should be functional again. And now we can take these out to... gosh dang it. Really? They're just barely not long enough. If they were literally one tile more. Wait, actually no, this is fine. This is fine, actually. So they can just go out to there, like that. And then connect up with all the rest of that stuff. And is that sort of a horrific thing? Yes, it is. But I guess we can neaten it up like that. So it's kind of intentional looking. And then once those are connected up, the rest of these are easy by comparison. We just have to bring all these back and then wire them across. Alright, so then that goes across there. And that is all of the light oil merged up into a single pipe. Still no sign of any crude oil anytime within the next million years. So now we have all of our light oil in a pipe. We can get a row of these, and I believe it was like 13 of them or something. So we also need the water pipe to go across like that. And then we just need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I feel like that math is wrong, but I can't be bothered to check. So we set the recipes across, and we module, and we module, and then we're going to have to wait for more modules. Fortunately, we have 410 in storage at the moment, which is pretty neat. Alright, so then this finally just is... Alright, we left a bit of spare space in there, which is fine. So the water, I guess, can go directly across. So that goes like this. And I could have done copy and pasting to make this faster, but I didn't, and it's definitely too late now. Alright, so that is in, and now we just need that to go in. So all of these pipes can attach across, and assuming I haven't made any mistakes, once oil shows up and we power all these machines on, which is the next thing we need to do, then we should get a nice healthy pipe of petroleum gas out there, which, let's see, so we have crude oil there, we have water there, so we can just set this one to be, where is it? Petroleum output. And we give this an unloader, which we're then going to have to turn around so that it actually loads. Blop, blop, and 3 and 4, and a refueler, and that should be that. So So now we just need to do the last little bit. So this pipe needs to go up here and across into there. Then we need our 2 pipes down here, which don't go directly across the front like that. That would break it. Instead, they go straight along like this. And I have to get rid of all the pipes that we placed that we didn't mean to. And then this goes into the water. And then we get another pipe down here, which is going to go into the crude oil. And there we go. So now we attach all of these in. And almost there. All right. So now that that's attached up, we take this pipe down here and into there. We take this pipe up here and into there. And as soon as our outputs appear, we should be all attached up. As long as we just get power connected across. Which, just like that. Alright. And then we have to finish moduling, which is surprisingly difficult to do manually because of all the pipes. Alright, productivity modules across the board. And we have this now. Alright, so I'm not surprised crude oil hasn't shown up. I am a little surprised water hasn't. Maybe I just need to place another water train. I bet all the water trains are occupied. I bet that's what's happening. Yes, that is indeed what's happening. Alright, so let's get a locomotive and fluid wagon. 1, 2, 3, 4. And assign you to water group automatic. And I always forget that I can't close that menu until I've actually placed the fuel in. And I'm pretty sure I already put the train in for this one. So that should be fine. And then it'll just be a matter of expanding crude oil production even more. Yeah, so that's what we were going to need to do soon, is we need to expand out even more, grab more resource nodes for a lot of things, like we need copper as well. I wouldn't be surprised if uranium is starting to run low. No, uranium is basically fine. Alright, that's good. I've got all this stuff up here, which is actually only using tier 2 speeds, because I hadn't unlocked tier 3 speeds. So we can improve our crude oil supply pretty dramatically just by doing that. So, tier 3 speed modules. You all get those. And then let's find the other crude oil spots and do the same. And they are going to be missing them. So we are going to need to we're going to need to actually craft more of them, which should be an ongoing process. Alright, so we just pop speed modules in all of those, and it'll get around to it when they get made. So let's just confirm that this is still working. Alright. Well, it would still be working, probably, if there were red circuits at all. Which there are not. So that's unfortunate. So we have two waiting at two different red circuits outputs, both of which are currently bricked because that one doesn't have any plastic, it's got plenty of wire, and the other one, which I could have sworn it was one of those. Oh, is it this one? Also missing plastic. Alright, plastic. We need more petroleum gas. We need fewer trains stopping only to deliver nothing at all. Yeah, why did you do that? Okay, you're this one. You're the lubricant train. That makes sense. Alright, so then we have this petroleum gas setup over here, which doesn't have anything in it. And we have this new one over here, which also doesn't have anything in it. So that is not ideal. How is crude oil this bad all the time? We upgraded it just recently, and it should theoretically be something which you never run out of. Also, that looks kind of like a biter's nest. The fact that it's flickering like that. Let's just shoot a random stray shot out there and see if there's anything to see. Nope. Nothing to see there. Alright. So, petroleum gas. Is there any reason... Is there any reason why these guys are as slow as they are? Okay, this one is nearly filled. So it's possibly just a question of how long they spend waiting to load up, because they do wait to load up all the way. And this one is also mostly filled. And then this one up here is also mostly filled. So I think that's what's happening, as I think we just have a period where coincidentally all of the crude oil is filling all at once. But obviously this wouldn't happen if we had enough supplies to make the crude oil last anyways. So we are going to need more crude oil. And I was really hopeful that this would do it. But it didn't. So where is... So that's a big crude oil source there. Is that... What's that little purple thing there? Who knows? Alright, so that's a massive crude oil up there. Yeah, we're just going to need to expand out even more. Which is a bit annoying, because that's going to mean dragging a bunch of trains everywhere, but probably just has to be done. We can head not too far away to the west there and grab that crude oil, and hopefully that will be a good amount for us. But yeah, I could have sworn that this was bigger. Like, I thought this was more than the, what, 245% or whatever that it is. But who knows? Definitely is all that's producing there. We could always do coal liquefaction. That's always an option if we need to. And that just makes heavy oil, light oil, and petroleum gas out of coal, heavy oil, and steam. So the steam we can make via just burning some fuel or even just by tapping off of our nuclear supply. And the coal we would input, and the heavy oil would just be looped around from the outputs, because it uses 25 and it makes 90. Yeah, I think that's what we'll work on next time, is coal liquefaction, because we don't use nearly as much coal as we do other things. It looks like that might be just more efficient. But I think this is a pretty good stopping point for here. Wait, hang on. My machine gun turret got destroyed. I didn't even know I had any of those anymore. Yeah, you can just become a laser gun turret. I don't even think the machine gun turret was getting supplied ammo properly. Which is probably for the best, because this belt is going to start feeding it iron ore soon. Alright, so I think... yeah, so next stream we're going to work on coal liquefaction, and we're just going to expand to more crude oil. And hopefully the coal liquefaction will just solve our problem. Because it's been a constant thorn in my side, the lack of crude oil. And we also need to, at some point, get around to fixing copper and possibly iron as well. Because these are definitely not going well. Yeah, copper supply very much dwindling. And I imagine that will be the case for our other copper mines. Although this one's probably still fine. Yeah, this one is still fine, going strong. But even it, like the ones around the edges. So yeah, we're gonna have to find more mines for basically all of our resources. And that will be next stream. So thanks everyone for hanging out. Had a lot of fun. Oh, I'm probably not gonna be here on Thursday because I'm gonna be out of town. So I believe I will be streaming tomorrow, but not Thursday or Friday, and then I should be back on Monday, no problem. So, you know, if it's gonna be a little bit before we have more Factorio, unfortunately. It'll be until next Tuesday for that. But Satisfactory will be going tomorrow and then on Monday. So make sure to stop by then if you're interested. I stream every weekday except for the upcoming vacation from 2 to 5 Eastern Time. So yeah, make sure to follow me if you haven't already so that you can see when I go live again.